so welcome to Suitcase Divas. This is episode 31. My name is Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, so on this episode, this was a fun one, Cheryl. We went out to Childress Vineyards, to the winery out in Lexington, North Carolina. How fabulous, right?
It was so nice because we knew this was on our list to do, and you kind of want to do it on a pretty day. So we were able to decide the day before, hey, tomorrow's going to be beautiful. Let's take a road
88
trip.
and sunny. It was actually a little bit toasty,
It
but
was,
we were
it
just
did.
like, let's go there. Let's do it. That's the great thing about what we do. We can just pick up and go where we want to go, do what we want to do. Don't be jealous. Okay, so a little bit about this vineyard. So it opened its doors in 2004. NASCAR team owner Richard Childress, he fulfilled a longtime dream. He grew up in the days when he first began racing. NASCAR is big around here. So he started out in California, and then when he was racing out there, he would visit the wineries with friends. And so he looked in California, New York, places to open different vineyards because he wanted to do his own vineyard. But then he chose farmland in Lexington, Kentucky, which is like 5 miles from where his big NASCAR racing operations is. So it's situated in Yadkin Valley, just like right at the beginning, only 45, 50, and less than an hour from us.
Less than
So
an
it
hour,
turned
yeah.
out to be fabulous location. Good job, Richard. But Yadkin Valley is known for having over 70, like what, 40, 70 vineyards right in that area. So they feature over 70 acres at Childress Vineyards. Um, Pretty amazing. So like let's talk about when we roll up in there. What were your first thoughts? Because I've been there before, you never have. So what were your
Right.
first thoughts coming up
So
in there?
it's absolutely gorgeous. I was really like in awe of how they stuck with the theme of the what would you call it? The Tuscan villa type.
I would say that, yeah.
And it was throughout. Like this wasn't just an outdoor decor kind of thing. It
It's
was
gorgeous.
throughout the entire grounds. It was really, really pretty. You know what's funny? And we did talk about this. There wasn't the sign for the villa or for the vineyard was a little further away from the actual building. So of course we always look for a way we can take a picture of the sign. It is just one of the things when we first walked in, there's not a lot of signage
That's true.
kind of explain where you are because there are a lot of buildings when you first come
Well,
in.
they have the shops up there to the right, and that is a bit confusing. They didn't have that back when I went. My first visit was
Right.
like 5 years ago, so it's a little bit different now for sure.
So, and if you didn't know, you might pull into the shops, or you have to go through the gates to actually and go kind of like a little winding road to get to the vineyard. The signage I did when we left saw it's tiny, so it's not, and it blends in with the nature, but also which is beautiful for
But if you
aesthetic.
get past the signage and then you roll up into this gorgeous Tuscan looking vineyard, then you're like, shit, we've arrived. Like, this is
Right.
it. We're here. There's
So
a
I will
fountain out
say,
front. It's gorgeous.
oh yeah, when we were walking in, just how beautiful. They had little patio seating on the outside that they were semi-private because it was one table in between kind of like little column type things. So
Yeah,
you could almost feel like you were in your little own nook. Um, and then when you walk in, it was absolutely gorgeous.
gorgeous.
I was very impressed. Again, there's no signage. We actually didn't know where to go to ask. They obviously
Well, I
didn't.
kind of knew from last time, but you're right. There's not a lot of signage.
Right,
Because
like,
the tasting room is in the gift shop, which is also different.
and it's in the back, so it's not the very first thing you see if you were to go into the
But it's
gift
not
shop.
hard to just browse around and kind of get the lay of the land. It's all gorgeous and it's set up beautifully. And the reason that I was a little lost is they've changed shit around a lot since the last time I went there 5 years ago. When I went there, when you came up into the main building, the bistro was up there then they do have a gorgeous lounge off to the right. They've got another fountain when you walk in, a water fountain,
Mm-hmm.
and just very upscale looking, gorgeous grounds. Everything was beautiful. But so then they moved the bistro restaurant. She said this all happened during COVID. That event center that was outside used to just be an open air event center. They've now enclosed all of that, and that's the bistro now. So the restaurant moved separate, and that is an event center. You can do weddings, you can do whatever. So it did change around a little bit since the last time I've been there, but it's gorgeous. I mean, it is a beautiful vineyard. I'm impressed with the way that it
Right.
looks. It's more upscale.
Absolutely. Yeah. It did have different levels. So, like Denise said, when you walked into the main building that is right off the parking lot that you first come to, that's where you'll find your gift shop, your tasting. They have their wine slushy bar, which was absolutely amazing. Off to the right was like a tap room. I don't remember what that one was called, but it opened up later in the day because we went earlier. So that was more of an evening. And towards the back where the restaurant used to be, do you remember what she said that was now?
So that's kind of like an exclusive maker's
Oh,
mark.
that's
If you're a
right.
wine of the month club, then they do like private tastings. I believe they also open that up to like brunches and tastings on pairings
Yeah, that's
on
right. She did
Saturdays
say
and
that.
Sundays.
So you have
So
that on in the main building. And then they did have an upstairs that she told us was where the bridal
because they do weddings
room
there. That's where the bridal suite, like where the
had
bride would
conference
get ready and the
rooms.
bridesmaids and stuff like that. And then the offices. She said there are some
Yeah.
offices up there, but that's kind of nobody really goes up there unless you've got like some kind of shindig going on at the actual location.
So then when you
But the whole
left,
location's gorgeous.
oh, absolutely. When you left that building and went outside, either back through the front or through one of their side doors, there was a path that led down to the bistro restaurant, which was fairly large and
It
open.
was huge.
It had plenty of seating and everything, but it was still big. So before we kind of explored the rest of it, we wanted to oh well, let's talk about us exploring first and then we'll go into the tastings. So we did kind of walk around. We didn't quite go into the bistro just yet. We went
We're
later.
just getting the lay of the land.
Yeah. So one of the things I noticed, so there's a second level that was like they called the lawn. There was there a new corner cantina, which is a concession style service down on the turf grass.
Mm-hmm.
It was gorgeous down there. Open
It is.
seating. They had umbrellas already, super easy to open. There was the lake, the little pond, lake, I don't know what you would
With
call
a
it.
fountain and the little
Yeah,
walkway out, and there's the geese out there. They're like, "Don't feed the geese." And then this sign was like, please watch your children. No swimming. Please watch your children."
right.
I had
So
to
I
give a
did
shout out.
find that the corner cantina is only open on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
It wasn't open when we went, but I could see why that would be beneficial to have that down there so you don't have to keep going. The only way down there that we first saw was clunky kind, like it was what would
Yeah,
you
you
call
you can't really be handicapped and do these levels of stairs, or it would be challenging. Even like we talked about our friend Shannon going, and she recently had ACL surgery. Even with crutches, even with a walker, it's not easy to navigate.
it's
They're
not
big
accessible.
step stairs down. It's gorgeous
So I
if
will
you have
say,
absolutely no ailments. It's gorgeous, but it would be difficult to navigate your way around if you had any kind of mobile impairment.
I did of course ask because I'm like,
We
there's
always
to
ask, right?
be, and I will say there's not very good signage to at all as far other than obviously handicap parking is identified when you first come up, but there's no directions of what to do if you have a mobility issue. So I went and asked someone and then at the slushy bar and she had to ask someone else like, hey, where does a wheelchair say person go? And they asked me, well, what's your purpose? And I was like, to explore. Basically, what it came down to is they do have an elevator in the main building that will take you down to the like lawn patio area, but you don't have access to the restaurant if you're down there. You would have to go back up and down through the elevator, or you have the option of parking around the back near the patio. It is lower and there is handicap parking back there. But again, you're kind of wherever you are, you're stuck there unless you're using the elevator. They do not label that like wheelchair accessible this way or accessible access this way. That's one of
But
the
I
things.
think it did call ahead. That's kind of what they said. Like, call ahead and we can get you where you need to be. They were very nice about it, and
Oh,
they
they
are
were, but I'm just this is something that people don't.
you're passionate about. I
Well,
get it.
and if you have any type of accessible issue for something like this, I understand going to an amusement park, checking out a hotel. There are things you should call ahead for, but visiting a public place like this, you shouldn't have to call ahead to see if they're accessible. That's asking more of your future guests when you should be incorporating that in your facility anyway. And they have it.
I do see your point. I do see your point. But when we did ask about it, I feel like they were pretty receptive to like give us
Right.
information.
Oh, for sure. I'm
So
just letting those out there know that
yeah,
and then this is good feedback for the vineyard as well. Like, hey, you're not really kind of meeting the needs of certain guests
maybe
that you have.
signage,
Yes.
more
The signage
accountability.
they did have was not very visible. It would
But I
have.
would say you could still go there. You could
Oh,
absolutely still go
absolutely.
there. It's just
And that when we talk about accessible resources for those that need that, it's not always in a negative light or saying that this is not a great place to go. What it is
no,
to
I would say this is
me
a fabulous place to go.
is
We just have to dig a little
identifying
deeper. That's
and
all.
it's something that we need to let others know so when they do want to venture out they know what to expect, because
Yeah,
if not,
absolutely.
you're showing up at this place and not having any clue of how to be prepared. This is just me letting my accessible needs
I can see
travelers.
you're pretty passionate about it. And I understand that and I love that about it.
Right, for sure.
Mhm.
But they were accommodating. They do have it. I think they just need a little bit more tweaking to make it more accessible, friendly. But I do think if you were to show up there and need a little bit of assistance, they would absolutely help you out.
Absolutely. Everybody there was super sweet. Everybody was super nice. So then if what we did end up walking over after we did, so there were a couple options. I will say this on the okay, so you did want to mention the bistro, but we went there after we did our wine
Yeah, so let's
tasting.
talk about the wines and the way
Yeah,
we did. So
there was a
tell us a
couple
little bit
options
about
for
the wine
wines.
part though, before we get to the options that we chose.
Okay, so I'll say Childress Vineyards features over 70 acres of their vineyards, and they have a broad range of over 30 wines to appeal to both the introductory palate, which would be Cheryl,
Yes.
and the seasoned taster, which would be me.
Mm-hmm.
So it really was a fun tasting, and it was a little pricier than some of the other vineyards we've been to. But I will say the quality of wine
Absolutely. Was
it earns that $35 tasting. Because I mean,
yeah,
some places in Yadkin Valley you can get like 6 or 10 little tastings for $12.
right.
We got 4 tiny like 2-ounce pours for $35, but the wine is amazing. There wasn't a single one. I didn't taste all of yours. You may have tasted all of mine,
I
but
think I
either
did taste
way,
all of yours. Yeah.
the wines were top notch. Like they were better than most, like maybe all of the vineyards I've been in
It
yet.
was one of the best tastings
Yeah,
that we've
for
done
me,
and the samples.
I preferred their wines over anyone I've ever been to in that Yadkin Valley area, which I haven't been to all of them, but I've been to 10 or 15.
Yeah.
And I would say Childress takes top leaderboard for the tastiest wines across the
Yeah.
board, whether it's white or rosé or reds. It is just
Right.
they're all delicious.
So we had the option between choosing between tasting and a flight. So you want to tell us what a difference is between a tasting and a flight?
Yeah, sure thing. So, like, if we were gonna go into the tasting room, which is also the gift shop, which there were so many fun things there,
Yeah, it was.
so
They had some
many
really
fun
cute
things. Like, I'm
merchandise.
glad that I had my wits about me and just like, do not buy because I have bought some stuff, but I was there on a mission to do the podcast and do the tasting, so I didn't get sucked in, but the gift shop is fucking fabulous.
Mhm.
So much fun stuff. So you could choose to, and then they've got a gorgeous, everything there is gorgeous, by the way. But the tasting room, it's got all the wine bottles behind it. Then it's got the bar. They have you set up with your little whatever you want to choose for your tastings. They kind of give you an option. And then the I'm gonna call her sommelier because she is just behind the counter and she's very knowledgeable, and she's gonna walk you through each one of the 6 wines. You get to pick 6 if you go into the tasting room, and they're 1-ounce pours for $35. So then she's going to tell you about the wine and give you kind of all the deets. The other option is to go over to where the wine slushy bar is outside the fountain area, and then that is where you get to pick 4 2-ounce pours, and then you can go out onto the grounds wherever, by the fountain, over by the bistro. They have, like you said, multitudes of different fabulous options to sit out and just enjoy the vineyard and do the tasting at your own level, like on your own level.
Right.
They've got little, I don't know if you can see up close, but
We'll
they
post a
kind of give
picture
you
with it
notes.
too.
So they kind
Yeah.
of give you notes, and we can take pictures and post them. But so the 4 that I did, of course, Dee is a red girl. So I went with the red. And what did you go with, Cheryl,
I,
for your
of course,
tasting?
went with the whites. Now, I will say the difference between these two tasting, what you're tasting in your flight at this vineyard, was you didn't get to choose your wine. You either chose wet red, white, or a mix. You didn't get to go through all the previous tastings and places I've been. They give you like a list of maybe 6, or if you're a white person, a white
You can check
wine
boxes. I
person.
want to try this. I want
Yeah,
to try this.
they'll give you a choice of like 6 or 8 or 10, whatever it is, and you get to pick the ones you want to sample. Both of these, we did not have an option to select the wine that we were sampling. That it was already a predetermined
But
list.
it ended up being fabulous. And I will
Right.
say, with the one that we chose, we ended up going with the one
The
where we just
flight.
picked our 4, like we got the 4-pack of whatever we wanted. And but the one thing I will say, which is pretty freaking cool, is it comes with 4 little tasting glasses in a box, and you get to take home all 4 of the little
Yes,
tasting
a
glasses as a
Serenity.
souvenir.
Which
Yeah.
I love, because I do collect. I always get a wine glass when I go to a vineyard and taste, and I collect them. With the
Yeah.
tasting, you got a regular size wine glass, stemmed wine glass. With
But now that
white,
was kind of like a Rydell decent, like these are stemless. The ones we got were
right,
stemless. The ones, if you go into the tasting room, that's a regular Rydell drinking
a
wine glass.
stemmed wine glass, yeah.
Yes, long stemmed.
Um, so those, that was just difference between what
And
they
there's no
did.
wrong way to do it. I would
Correct,
go back and
yeah.
do a tasting there too, but we wanted to go out and enjoy the sun. Like we got, it's like we're spring, and then we get an 88-degree day, and we're like, hell yeah, let's go out and sit in the sun and enjoy, sipping, and we'll record our podcast. So that's the route we chose, but there's really
Right,
no bad answer there.
yeah. So let's talk about the wines that we tasted. Like Denise said, she did the red box, is what I'm going to call it, red list, and it came with 4 different types of red. And I did the sweet whites, or
Yep.
sweet wine. Let me say mine was sweet wine, not just whites.
Yes. Yes.
So do we want
Indeed.
to talk about what they were?
Yeah, so we kind of bounce, and I guess we'll put a snippet in the end. So the first one of my
But
reds
before you
was,
start that, can I tell them the way they have it set up? I'm going to see in the box, they have a piece of paper on the bottom in 4, it's got a grid on it with each
mhm.
wine. I didn't realize they put the glass that matched that grid on top of the thing. So when we sat at our table, I automatically pulled out all 4
Yeah,
of my glasses.
newbie
I was
over
getting
here.
ready to line them up because I wanted to read the paper as I was drinking it. I like to hold it. And Denise looked at me and she's like, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
I was
So
like, how are you gonna know what's what if you just
exactly,
mix them all up?
I was
So
able to
this was
tell,
kind of
but
like the
just,
aha moment. Yeah.
yeah, just FYI, if you do the flight and you have the box, don't take it out because you won't be able to tell always.
Or take it out strategically as
Correct,
I
like
did
you
and
did.
know
Yeah.
where everything goes that you're drinking. It's
I just
either
jumped right
or,
in. Yeah. All right. So let us know about your reds.
Okay, so my reds were amazing. I started out with the Barrel Select Merlot. So that one was considered supple and harmonious with accents of herbs, blackberries, cherries, smoky aromas, and it was a soft tannin finish and a silky and smooth, and it absolutely was. Merlot is kind of like my go-to jam. I do like it a lot, and it was delicious. It really was. I have nothing but good things to say about the Merlot.
Nice.
So what was the first one you tasted?
Mine was the American Riesling, which we were both actually impressed with this
Yes,
because,
honey, because I love a Riesling.
and I'm not a huge fan because most of the Rieslings I've had, while they are a little bit sweeter, they are usually dry.
They're
This
crisp and a little
was
dry.
not.
This one would I would say it was medium bodied, and it was not sweet and it was not dry. It was middle of
Right.
the road perfection.
Yeah,
For
it
anybody
actually
that
was.
yeah, it
So I'll
was
read you the
fabulous.
description. I'm only going to read, I probably only read this one, but this was something that I did catch a difference in when we were doing it. The descriptions between red and white. So this was fresh, fruity, and vivid personality of this off-dry white wine bursts with peach and floral aromas. Actually, that one wasn't pretty bad. Some of the other ones. But I did notice a red wine is described so eloquently. Like there's so much description to a red wine. White wines don't have that. It was just very interesting the difference in the way they describe those.
Well, true. And red wines typically are more complex notes,
Right. Yeah.
just because of the way that
It's more romantic, like the way the descriptions are in the red wines, I think. But what was your second one?
oh, so my second one was, and these are all Barrel Select Cabernet Sauvignon. And so this one, also medium acidity, and it was good. This one says vintage flavors that glide between dark notes of fruit, earthy herbs, tobacco, and it's complex in structure and depth.
See, very good description.
And it was delicious. I did like it. I like Cab Sauv. I'm a
Yeah.
red girl. There was nothing wrong with it. It didn't stand out in the pack, but it was I would absolutely, if somebody handed me a glass of it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, it's delicious. It was delicious.
Nice. So my second glass was Sunkissed Peach, which I think you tried the peach, right?
I loved the peach. It was not super sweet like some of the fruity wines. And
Right.
I'll give you an example. I love Aldi wines, but their fruit ones, like the blueberries, the strawberries, they're so sweet.
Like
And a lot of
syrupy
people love
sweet?
that. I didn't think that the what?
No, I mean like the Aldi ones are like syrupy sweet. Because that's
They're
how
pretty
I
sweet.
describe. Yeah.
They're
These
pretty
were
sweet.
great. This
But
Sunkissed
this peach was light,
it
light and
was.
crisp.
And it
So I
wasn't
liked it a lot.
very syrupy. I really think this is great. It would be great in a sangria. If you were
Agreed.
to do throw it. This is a great summer drink. Chop up some peaches, throw it in there. I think it would be it's very light, great for sitting outside.
Yes,
It's one you could sip on all day and not feel icky, like too much sugar at the end of the day. Uh,
correct.
and on the sweetness scale, this one, which actually all of them but one were at 3 out of 5 on the sweetness scale. This one did have some acidity to it. That's what it says on the paper, but I didn't feel like it had any
I
strong.
thought it was lovely.
Yeah, I did too. It was pretty light. So what was your third one?
So then my third one was the Barrel Select Pinnacle. So this one was really interesting, because when you first take a taste of it, it tasted one way, on the front of your palate, but then it gave a completely different complex flavor on the back of your palate, which not a lot of wines do that. I've only had a couple of other wines do that. So it is saying it's versatile and medium bodied. Pinnacle boasts bright cherry flavors, and also cedar and spice, with notes of cedar and spice. So it just has a full balanced finish, and it was It was really interesting. I even had you taste it. What did
I
you think?
did taste it because I remember when we were tasting it, as I swallowed it, I was like, wait, was that a whole different flavor after you swallow
It's
it? Like
really cool.
it was very unique. I had personally never had one like that that finished way different than it started. So and it was very noticeable. It wasn't like just a subtle hint. It was a good front to back kind of
I liked it. It was different. It
yeah.
was very different. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. So my next one was the Sun-Kissed Blackberry. Again, I think especially come summer, a lot of your sweeter wines are heavy I mean, they're all mostly fruity flavor, but you get all these berries. This one was I really liked the flavor of the blackberry. It wasn't very overpowering. Again, it wasn't syrupy sweet because as you
Right.
start to get into those darker berries, sometimes it can feel very sugary. This one did not.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
actually thought if you mix this blackberry with the peach and threw in blackberry and peaches, you would have an amazing summer
I'm
punch.
there for it. Yep.
Yeah,
And then we're sitting around your pool. All right,
right?
sounds like a
That
plan.
was yeah.
You know what was interesting? When I was to saying how amazing all these wines were, Nick was like, "How come you didn't bring any home for me?" He's not a wine drinker, but I didn't bring any home. But next time, that just gives us
You're
another reason to
right.
go back there.
We usually sometimes will come home. I don't know why
I
we
know.
didn't buy
I
anything.
think that I don't know. I guess we were just wrapping up and we felt like we needed to do more for the show. I don't know why we
Right.
didn't buy it.
Yeah. So
We
what was
just
your
never went
final
back into the shop.
that's true. We didn't go back in the shop. So what was
So
your
that's
final
must have been what
wine?
happened. Yeah. So then we're on my last one. My
Yeah.
last one was delicious as well. So that was the Barrel Select Sangiovese, and it says bright and luscious. It is brimming with ripe fruit flavors, medium body, and it boasts acidity with notes of cherry, leather, and cedar. So again, these are things like the tobaccos, the cedars. They're gonna be heavier, but none of them. And I think I had you tried this one too. None of
Mhm.
them were overwhelmingly dry because I know you don't
Oh, I
really like
agree.
dry.
Yeah.
And I don't mind dry. I do like dry, but none of these were exceptionally dry.
Right.
So I loved all of my reds. They were all delicious.
Yeah. So my last one was a muscadine sweet red. And
I did not
um,
try that one.
you did not try this one. Although I wish you had because on the sweetness scale, on their sweetness scale, and I will say again, every winery we've been to, their scales slightly vary.
Yeah.
But this one was a 4 out of 5 on sweetness. And while this one was the sweetest of them, it
Yeah.
still was not syrupy. I do like a muscadine wine.
I should have been brave and tried it.
But I will say there are most muscadine wines tend to be on the heavier, syrupy, sweet side.
Agreed.
This one was not. I kept going back and sipping this one. I will say to me, like any other muscadine wine, this is not something you like. This is one you sip on. You would sip throughout, like sitting out by the pool in the evening. It's a summer. I do feel like it's like a summer wine. It was light, but I really, really like this is probably one of my favorite muscadine wines that I've had. And I've tried a lot. And this was probably one of my top 3.
I don't like muscadine wines at all, but
Yeah.
I should have tried yours. Maybe next time. Well, this just gives us another reason to come back.
Right. And I'm assuming they switch them out probably seasonally or, periodically because these would not be like what I would expect to try in the winter. I would expect something slightly
Right.
different. So we definitely need to go and we need to go back, period.
Yeah.
So, before we move on to our final thoughts, I do want to point out one thing that they had that I absolutely loved. We didn't get to try it. They had pretty much a really nice wine slushy bar. I have noticed over the years, you see more and more wine slushies at the vineyards. It's usually 1 or 2, maybe 3 different flavors. They had like 6 or 7. Like that whole bar behind the bar, they had like 3 or 4 here, 3 or 4 here. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't remember if all the flavors were the same, but the amount of machines they had was the most I'd
Yeah,
seen.
they had like 8 or so. Yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah.
slushy machines, and that would
And
be that would be a fun
I will say if
flight.
you like wine slushies, here at Childress, they also sell their packets where you can make your wine slushy. You can either choose and most places that have a wine slushy, they will sell the mix and then the 2 bottles of wine or 1 or 2 bottles of wine, whatever they're using in it. And you can buy it as a package or just the mix. I have actually bought those. And it is easy. You can make it at home. It's not going to be the best as if you were making
Well,
it in that frozen machine, but on a
yeah.
summer day, those wine slushies are awesome. So I was really impressed with their wine slushie bar.
Yeah, it was good. And they do have some upcoming events too. They have a Wineryville coming up on the 27th at 7 p.m. And then they also have a Mother's Day brunch if you're interested, May 11th and 12th from 10 to 4 p.m. You do need to make reservations, but they have a lot of great things going on there throughout the summer months. And I believe they don't do food trucks because they have the bistro, but it is a I encourage anybody to go out to Childress. I really, really enjoyed it. The grounds are beautiful. Yeah, it was a little bit higher end of a flight on the cost side, but the quality of their wine, like we couldn't find a wine we didn't like. And we've been
Right.
to other wineries where we're just like, not feeling it. Everybody was nice, but the wines were not good.
Yeah.
So the wines here were delightful. Some of the best wines I've ever had. And that Riesling that we bought a bottle of,
Right.
that's what I should have brought home because that was delicious. And it's chilled, good for the summer months, also sitting around the pool, hanging
Mhm.
out. So I love this vineyard. What were your final thoughts, Cheryl?
I thought it was gorgeous. I absolutely think if you are planning, if you're within the area or something, like I said, it's about 45, 50 minutes from us here in Concord, right outside Charlotte.
Yep.
It's definitely worth it for a day trip. Especially if you're doing some type of celebration and you want to dress up and you want that ambiance and you want those pretty pictures,
Yes.
I absolutely recommend going to this place. Because
Yep.
the vibe of it is so elegant and it was gorgeous. So,
Agreed.
and all the wine, the wine was great. And I agree with Denise. It is on the higher end of what we have sampled before, and their bottles were on the higher end, but the quality was also on the higher end. So you're getting what you
Exactly.
pay for
You
sure. So
paid
just go
full
in
for it.
knowing you're not getting a regular $12, $16 flight or sample, but you're getting good quality wine. So I
Yep.
highly recommend you check it out for sure. I enjoyed it. I'd go
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely. Two thumbs up.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's all. It wraps up
Yeah.
our adventure to Childress Vineyards.
Yeah. Go check it out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Of my wine. Hold on, let me do this. Okay.
Oh,
I was
I
gonna be
mixed
like,
them up.
I was gonna be like, I wouldn't do that yet.
Well, how are you supposed to know what they are? That's so funny. So these
All
are
right.
reds. That's hilarious that I did that.
Well,
So mine's gonna be a roulette kind of thing because I get how they did it. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
wanted to be able to read it.
No, right. I hear you.
But that's so funny. I turned and I saw you kind of like going, what is
You're not gonna be able to tell which one's what.
Oh yeah.
I think that's better.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming. All right. So we are at Vineyard. Sorry, Childress Vineyard,
Yes.
and we are doing a flight tasting. I got the sweet, obviously.
Of course you did. And
you-
I got the red.
Yes. So the cute thing. Oh, I put the box away. But the cute thing that they did that I really liked because we were deciding between sitting at the bar and tasting or coming out here and doing the flight. The tasting that you do inside is guided by the bartender. They walk you through. You get, what was it, 6?
You get 6 1-ounce pours.
And then with the flight, you get 4 2-ounce pours.
Yep.
And then you get to take it outside, like that's what we ended up doing. And they put these cute little 4 glasses in a
Mhm.
box. Apparently, this is underneath, and I didn't know this. They match it. I mixed mine up because I took it out. So I'm gonna try to guess which one I'm drinking.
Fair enough. It gives a little extra challenge
Yeah.
to it, right?
Mine's like a bingo. I'm gonna see if I got that one.
And I strategically put mine where they belong.
You paid attention. I just jumped right in. This is what we do.
This is
I
what we
just
do.
jumped right in.
Okay, so what is the first one that you're gonna be tasting?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's gonna be, I'm gonna go with, maybe I should start with the whites.
I'm gonna go with the Barrel Select Merlot.
Okay, so my options are American Riesling or Sunkissed Peach. I should be able to tell the difference.
Oh, well, the peach is
Oh,
gonna be much more.
Yeah, this is the
fruity.
peach, so we're gonna start with the Riesling. I'm
Okay.
figuring this out.
All right. Oh, that's good.
That is good. What did you do? What was yours?
The Barrel Select Merlot. Okay, so the Barrel Select Merlot was delicious. I did enjoy that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but Merlot is kind of my go-to anyway.
Right.
You know.
This Riesling is really good, and I'm not a huge.
Is
It's
it-
not dry.
It's not dry.
Right.
Okay.
And then sometimes some
You
of the
can get a
Riesling.
dry Riesling for sure.
Absolutely.
You can. All right, so I do like that one.
All right, yeah.
I'm gonna move on to the Barrel Select Cab Sauv.
And I'm going to do the Sunkissed Peach, which I've already
Mm.
smelled it. It smells
Yeah,
amazing.
okay.
Oh, this is such a good summer wine. I mean, I smell. I haven't tasted it yet. Let's see.
Oh. This is not as dry as I thought it would be.
Which one was that one again?
This is the Barrel Select Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
I guess
like
we
it.
should have read what it said on here about each one. We can always.
so yeah, it says it's features flavors that glide between the dark, soft fruits, the earthy herbs. It is a little earthy and tobacco. I taste all that. So I
Do you?
definitely
Okay.
yeah.
I want
don't-
to taste it because
Do you want to taste mine?
yes, I do. I like when there's distinct descriptions, I try to find that.
Yeah.
And especially if it's not something I'm used to.
Well, right. Because you
Ooh,
it
I
is
do smell.
quite earthy.
Yeah,
And you will get the little bit, you'll get the notes of the tobacco for sure, because there's no disguising that. So I don't think you'll like this one, really.
I mean, no, I wouldn't. But
I
I
wouldn't
right.
order a glass of it, but it didn't make you
No, it
like,
was not bad at all. It's
it's
not
definitely not as dry as I thought it would
it's
be.
not. And it does.
Can you taste can you taste the earthiness of
I
it?
definitely taste the earthiness of
Okay.
it.
And once you try more and you become more experienced, then
Right.
you're gonna be able to pick up that tobacco. You might not be able to, but I can for
Well, and
sure.
that's why I like when it has a good description, especially if it's not one I drink regularly. I like to see if I can pull that out. Because a fruity wine, a sweet wine, the hints of it, you get the fruits, you get the sweetness. It's not always pulling out. I think a red wine is much more detailed, if that's the right word with wine.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Am I
It's more
describing?
complex?
Complex would be a better word.
Okay.
And describing wine, I agree.
Okay. So what are you going for next? What is
Mm.
you're doing?
So I wanted to. So
I'm gonna-
one of these is going to be a sunkissed blackberry, and one of these is going to be muscadine. I'll be able to tell the difference, but
Muscadine's gonna be super sweet.
yes, it is. And I do like muscadine wine, but you can't
I-
drink a bunch of it.
Yeah, not me. Not me.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna go with a
This is the muscadine.
Barrel Select Pinnacle, which is versatile, medium bodied, boasts bright cherry flavors, taste of cedar and spice with a full balanced finish. All right.
So this is a muscadine sweet red. It's fresh plucked grapes. Homemade strawberry jam plays on the palate. Ooh, I love that.
I like this. It's pretty good.
See, I do like muscadine wine.
It's so sweet.
This is sweet, but it's
This is
not
very different.
syrupy sweet. And I will say I do think there is a difference in the levels of muscadine wine, like quality, I guess.
So different. Try this one.
So this one definitely smells different than the earthy one.
Mm-hmm.
That one's slightly drier.
It is drier.
Okay, I'm just trying to identify my,
Mhm.
make sure that has a burst after you
It-
swallow it. It's got like a
it has
versus-
an after, like
Yeah.
it hits you on the back of the tongue.
Right.
So you drink it and then it has a whole nother flavor
That comes
that comes out after you
Yes.
on the back end. It's
That's
really
unique.
interesting. Yeah. I like, so far there's not been one that I haven't liked.
I agree.
I
And I
like-
really do. This is a good muscadine because it's not that syrupy sweet.
Okay.
It's definitely not syrupy sweet.
Can I try your peach?
Oh, yes. The peach was good. But I will say, like, I tend to not do a lot of straight up peachy ones unless I'm mixing it or putting it into like a sangria.
Oh my God.
That is really,
It's so good.
yeah.
But it tastes like Kool-Aid.
I know you couldn't drink that. Like, I wouldn't be able to drink.
If you had diabetes, you could not drink that.
Right. You'd have to be, these are when there's, again, I like sweet, but I don't like syrupy sweet. And
Okay.
and these are not, so far, none of them have been syrupy sweet, but that peach one to me has been the sweetest as far as even over the muscadine. I think that's sweeter. All right. So my last one is Sunkissed Blackberry, which I do like blackberry. I love berries.
So what do you think?
Ooh, this one smells good.
Okay. What did you
This
get?
is the Sunkissed Blackberry.
Ooh, I bet is that sweet?
Oh,
I mean, they're all
it
sweet,
is
but
sweet, but again, so far, I would say the peach is sweeter than the muscadine, than this one, than the Riesling. That's how I would
okay.
rank
So
this.
then I have a Barrel Select Sangiovese, which is kind of a.
Have you ever had that before?
I think I've had it in a tasting before, but so it says bright and luscious. It is brimming with fruit flavors, medium bodied, and it has a fresh acidity with notes of cherry, leather, and cedar.
Ooh,
So
interesting.
all of mine are pretty bold.
Yeah. Which is what you like. You like that more bold wine.
Ooh, this is good. Try it.
Let me see. I have to say, I'm not hating reds, and I think it's because I try them all the time with you.
Well, these ones are all nice.
And
though.
I'll say, when it comes to the smelling of the reds, always have so much more in the fragrance.
Yeah, because
I
they're
shouldn't say
they're
always,
bolder
but-
notes typically,
Right.
you know? Oh, we didn't even do our crackers at all. But I didn't change from red to white.
Yeah, and it was fine when I did this.
I'm gonna stick this under here.
Oh, so it doesn't blow away.
So it doesn't blow away.
I'll say I didn't hate. I could see myself drinking red wines, but that to me is the evening drink. It's not my choice if I'm sitting outside by the pool.
Well-
or, yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I do.
But I think it's also an acquired taste because didn't you say you started out in your wine adventure drinking sweet?
Yes. My chair just tipped back and I thought I was gonna fall. That was a little
They
scary.
are cobblestone, or it's cobble, or what's this called? Not cobblestone.
It's stamped like
No, I don't think it's stamped. I think they're actual because they're
slates,
yeah.
slabs.
It's not
It's not
smooth.
even.
Correct.
That's a fact.
So we will say, or I will say, this place is absolutely gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I did see when we first got here, because I kind of like scope it out for accessibility. Right off the bat, there were some issues.
Mhm.
But I went inside and I asked them about it, and they are prepared and they have ways to address accommodate. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not cookie cutter. I mean, you have to know where to
That's the
go.
thing. There
You have to
isn't-
know where
yeah.
to go, where to park. They do have handicapped accessible parking around the back. There is an elevator. So
But
you would
you
just
wouldn't
need to
know
you
that.
just need to research it before you came. But they
Yeah.
were everybody here has been super nice.
Oh my goodness. yes.
And we're gonna go try the bistro after this and maybe get some pimento cheese.
And walk around and do some more just sightseeing, because we've only walked. So when you come
it's
in,
gorgeous.
there's the main building, which the main building houses the tasting room, the gift shop.
The winery kind of looks Tuscan, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's like
so
kind of like you're in
pretty.
Napa. It's so beautiful.
Which we'll give you the history of it later on.
It's actually owned by a race car driver.
Which you told me that, because like I said, we probably shouldn't eat and record. This is the first time we've done that. what? You get us at our best and our,
Mhm.
you're getting us as we are.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but so this is why we love our job, because we actually,
We just decided yesterday to come here.
yep.
Like I woke up like this.
This is why our job is awesome, because
Yeah.
when
These are the perks of A, being a travel agent, and B, being a podcast host.
yeah,
Because we go where we want and do what we want whenever we want to do it.
when it fits, because we looked at the weather, we're like, it's gonna be one of the,
Gorgeous. It's a high of 88 today, but we're in the shade, and as you can see, there's a nice breeze.
yeah. So we just decided last night, we knew this was on our agenda. We just weren't quite sure where it would fit in with the weather. We want it to be nice. So we saw and we're like, let's
I like
go.
the Merlot.
Tomorrow's the day.
They also have slushies.
Wine slushies, which I will probably go try some. I love wine
Mhm.
slushies. I will see if they have the kits, because other wineries that I've been to, they actually have slushy kits that you
Yeah.
can buy the wine from here with that, and as well as the mix that goes into it. So we'll have to check that out. We haven't really scoped out much other than the layout, because
And the wine.
that's what we wanted. That was our top priority.
We have our priorities, people, and wine is definitely usually part of it.
Oh, I do want to say, in the wine tasting, you get to keep
All
I'm sorry,
4.
in the flight, you
Yeah.
get to keep all 4 of these cute little,
Childress. They're
Yes.
little stemless. Now, personally, this glass is too small to hold a deep pour.
yes, but
It's a sampler and it's cute. They're adorable.
you have a good dessert wine. This kind of cup is what I would
Or a port.
Oh yeah.
You could put a port in here.
But I collect the wine glasses from all the wineries I go to, and this actually is nicer because it doesn't take up as much space.
Mm.
And then I can put these out in the shoe
And,
shed,
I mean, hell, you just keep refilling it.
right?
Glass half full, glass half empty,
then
just refill.
Yeah, you're
You know?
just like, I barely had a glass. What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think the blackberry and the peach mixed together with fruit would make an amazing sangria. I don't like a straight up red sangria, a red wine based sangria, but I think these two together would make a really good sangria for
Okay.
summer.
I could be down with that.
I like sangria, but it's very
Again.
rare you find a white based sangria.
Aldi has an amazing white sangria. As soon as
Oh,
I
do they?
find it, it's in season. So they don't have it right now, but they should have it soon. They should absolutely have it soon. But they have an amazing white sangria, and you put some fruit in it.
Oh yeah.
So good. So good. Love it.
That's my jam in the summer, is to make fruit punches is what I call it, but it's not fruit punch. It's some type of sangria.
I call it fruit salad.
There you go.
It
Because it counts.
counts.
Because when you eat
It's a
that fruit
serving
the
of
next
fruit.
day after it's been soaking up in that drink, that is, or you could
You
freeze
have
it.
some the next day.
No, when you I don't throw the fruit away though, but I keep the fruit.
No, I eat it while
Yeah.
I'm drinking.
Oh no, I keep it in the pitcher.
Oh,
I don't like it in my cup.
I like it in my cup.
Oh, we did bring our cheese. Do you want me to get out our cheese and meats? Are you
Yeah,
good?
we
Okay.
can.
Let me grab that.
We can get the cheese and meats out.
We kind of just spread our stuff out.
Listen, it's a Thursday afternoon. There's not many people here.
We made ourselves at home.
Yeah. We talked to the manager.
Or which one?
No, she was the
Social
she was
media
the social media manager.
But the gentleman that we talked to, I don't remember what his role was, or I don't think he said.
I really like her outfit. Do you see those sleeves? They're like ruffly.
Yeah,
It's a pantsuit. It's adorable.
I love pantsuits, but
They're
how
hard
do
to
you?
pee.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a thing.
I during the summer I love romp. Look, what? Yeah, we're not fancy,
It's okay.
but I did bring. I found this. What I say this was garlic and herb or something and herb.
Oh, is that the
craft.
scary one?
No,
Oh,
this
that's
is
a new
craft.
one.
Yeah,
I want to try that.
yeah. That's
I'd
a.
like to try that.
I don't remember what the base was though. Like if it was a. This is pepper jack.
And don't make fun of it. You're like, if it's craft, Denise can handle it. I'm not that bad, guys.
No, that's not what I was saying. I was like,
no,
we
that
don't-
was in the last one.
Oh,
The last
yeah.
recording we did.
This is, so I have pepper jack and what is this one? I don't even remember.
What is this?
I don't remember what the
How do you
base was.
feel about this?
I didn't know how I did either.
Cheryl, this is not good.
That's why it's full.
I'm just
Here,
gonna
give me that piece.
Yeah, I'm just gonna set it aside and grab my Colby Jack.
See, this would make a great dip though. If you dumped this in and
Uh,
melted it.
I could see it being better in a dip with some Rotel, maybe.
I was just about to say Rotel. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
could see maybe
I'm
that.
gonna put this back in the cooler because we don't.
That's
neither one
not
of us.
good. That's bad.
Well, it
You
was
can't
something
go
we hadn't
wrong.
tried. That's why I picked it up because I. Oh, and here's some
With
salt.
Colby
Get it?
Jack, you cannot go wrong. Oh, like
Here's some on me.
Cover.
I got pepper jack. I forgot what that was.
So which one of yours did you like the best?
Oh, that's a good question. So I finished the Riesling first, actually.
I like a good Riesling.
I like that. Like again.
I didn't even get to try your Riesling.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. No worries.
Oh, I lied. I finished the peach. That's the Riesling. Try the Riesling.
Oh, let me do a cracker then to
Yeah, because. Well, and I will say that peach, even though that first,
the peach was delicious.
but it was sweet, but not super sweet. But as you drink the rest of it, the sweetness kind of tapered down. It wasn't overwhelming. Because I think about like if you're getting a sweet wine and you're trying, I shouldn't say trying to drink the bottle. If you finish the bottle, sometimes
This is like
I know.
I don't try that hard. It just happens.
I think sometimes the sugar, there's too much sugar, and that's
Agreed.
what causes your headaches, your hangovers, whatever. You just feel yucky. So that's what I've learned. That's why
that is delish.
I really do like that.
That's my
Riesling.
favorite white so far that we've had.
Out of all the places we've been. Is that what you're saying, or just here?
No, out of your white ones, but that is a good Riesling.
That is a good Riesling. And this muscadine is good too.
And it's not okay, so it's not dry,
right?
but it's definitely not overwhelmingly sweet.
Nope,
Because
it's
I've
not,
had
yep.
some really, really sweet Rieslings.
And you know, when I first started sampling and trying to figure out what type of wine person I was,
I started off with white Zinfandel, and they say that's like bottom of the barrel. That's not even a real wine. I think it is a real wine. People just shit on it.
I think any wine you like is a real wine. I don't care what people. I think you should drink what you like.
Well,
learn.
Listen, I'm not looking for anybody's approval.
Right. But I think because I learned from other people, obviously, like wines, and I had to figure out, I was like, because I kept saying, "Ooh, I was a liquor drinker." Like when we would go out, I would
I
get
can't do liquor.
liquor. That was my thing. I would get
Oh my God.
it was usually a coconut rum and some type of
I
pineapple.
like a Malibu rum.
It was just straight up coconut rum pineapple. Don't put any of the other shit in it. I don't need orange
Right.
juice. I don't need tequila. I don't need any of that.
I hear
just
that.
want the rum and pineapple.
I hear
juice.
that.
But one, that's a lot stronger. And
yeah,
you can't pay anyway.
It's hard to pace yourself with liquor.
Well, and also you don't want to, if you're going out to dinner or you're just sitting around. I remember the first time I'm trying to think of who, I think
This
it
one
was
is so bizarre.
as far as the flavor palette.
Yeah. So when you drink it,
oh, I shouldn't put that in front of me.
you
Is that the one that comes at the end?
yes,
Oh.
it hits the back of your tongue has a completely different flavor than when you first initially drink it.
That's what I felt.
I don't love the aftertaste on that though. I would not order that again. It's interesting. It's freaking me out a little bit how complex it is on the back of your palate, but I wouldn't.
That was what was surprising for me was the taste after. Like you don't really experience that often.
No, it is unusual.
Do you want pepperoni or salami? I have
Sure. I like a nice meat here and there.
Yeah, I hear you. I was gonna have a comeback, but I was trying not to choke on my crackers.
You said comeback.
And I said choke. There was all kinds of dirty. Or could have been.
We can't. We try not to be dirty, but we just are.
Yeah.
It's not our fault, really. So that's my Merlot. I think that's my favorite. The Cab Sauv.
Oh, What is your, because that was a hesitation.
Mm. Well, that salami's kind of spicy.
Mm-hmm.
The Gap sauce is not bad. It's not bad. The Pinnacle, that's this one that hits you on the backside.
Okay.
I don't know about all that.
But it's interesting. I think showing like that was.
The Sangiovese is, let me try that thing.
And what are the what is its
This
description?
one says bright and luscious. Who doesn't want to be that? It is brimming with fruit, medium bodied, and it has a fresh acidity with notes of cherry, leather, and cedar.
Was that the one that did it say spice?
No, that's not
okay,
this
that's
one.
the other one. Okay. Chair leather, like that's interesting when they say notes of leather.
So imagine tobacco and leather. It's got that bold. It's bold.
I think you know what it describes, the perfect Bath and Body Works candle.
All right.
That's what I think of.
I'm here for it.
I mean, I'm a sensory type person, like smell and taste are huge for me.
For sure. Absolutely.
And texture, because I can tell the texture difference and the different textures in just these sweet wines alone. And how heavy some of yours are heavier than others.
I like this.
Which one was that one?
This is the Sangiovese.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to say. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I did the pronounce this and you know.
See, I'll say when you take a sip of this muscadine, it's so good, but I could not drink.
I didn't even ask to sample.
I know you didn't.
Because
This
I
is
can't.
to me, you know how people talk about your dessert wine is a heavy, sweet, and you sip it, you really, that's when you actually stretch out.
Oh my God.
To me, a muscadine
It is
one,
so beautiful out
I
today.
stretch out. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And well, surprisingly, it was kind of busy here today on a Thursday. I mean, we got here about 12:30ish. And I don't mean like super busy. I was surprised to see.
you because you haven't seen this on a weekend.
But I
Like
mean,
there all of these tables would be full.
right? But I'm just saying, like, because we usually do our winery tours and experiences during the week because we can, and there's very rarely more than 2 or 3 people on property. But here, like, there is someone everywhere in every little section. I was kind of on the parking lot was pretty. I was kind of surprised by how many people were here.
See, I don't think it's that full here.
Well, think about because one, you've seen it on the weekend, but think about all the other wineries we've toured during the week, and usually it's like us and maybe 1 or 2 other parties. Whereas here, like the restaurant down there was pretty full, not full, but
this Pinnacle's throwing me for a loop.
all right, hold on. I'm gonna try it again.
Okay.
Let me finish my cracker. You know what? I brought these, but I do have the soup crackers I should have brought.
So what is this? This is the salami?
Yeah, that's the salami.
Oh, then I ate the pepperoni. I'm gonna try a salami. The pepperoni is a bit spicy, but I like it.
I absolutely love the smell of this one.
Oh, I don't like salami. I just remembered. I don't like that salami.
I love the smell of this one.
Yeah.
And what was it? This was the one.
That's this.
Yeah.
This is the Pinnacle. That's the one that has the
right.
It'll hit you. It'll hit you in the back end. Be prepared.
I think that's so interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
It's complex. I don't know how to feel about it, really.
Like, could you drink a whole glass of that?
No, I don't think so. I think out of mine, if I was going to branch out, I would go with the Sangiovese. If I'm going to enjoy a glass just for
while we're chilling.
Yeah, it'd probably be the Merlot. And the Merlot is supple and harmonious with accents of herbs, black cherries, smoky aromas, soft tannins, and a finish that is silky and smooth.
I will tell you, sweet wines rarely have as nice descriptions as the reds.
That is
All
a
those-
nice description.
It is. They did a very
It
good
sounds
job.
sexy.
But I'll tell you, mixing that one with the muscadine left a little spice at the end.
Because you're
it was
still
good
picking up.
though.
You're still picking up
See,
on
I'm
that.
not afraid to mix wines. If I were to find like two
Don't be
different,
afraid of
I
mixed
would
wine. Is this
totally
pepper
dump.
jack?
That is pepper jack. I love.
I love
jack.
pepper
Yeah,
jack. Oh.
gives you a nice kick.
Mm-hmm. And all the ones, the cheeses that I like tend to be soft, not crumbly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like a damn. It's got
Which
some
we
char-
have another like this one too.
What's that, Monterey Jack?
Yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a extra sharp cheddar. I don't always get extra sharp
Right.
because I think that's why I remember I was telling you because I sliced a cheese, my hands still kept smelling like cheese. I think it's because of the extra sharp cheddar.
Mm, yeah. That's got a bite to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I love the texture of it. Like it's
No Colby Jack, I'll tell you that.
no, but I don't always like if I'm just doing a casual snacking
Mm-hmm.
or like my standard, it's just a sharp cheddar. But every now and then throwing in that extra sharp cheddar,
You're bold.
it's still not my Wisconsin cheddar.
Oh, right. I hear you.
Mm.
So overall, my Merlot is my go-to. That was my favorite. But none of them were bad. I enjoyed all of
agree.
them. I enjoyed all of these.
I'm trying to think.
I really did like that peach, the sun-kissed peach. And the Riesling was my favorite out of all of yours.
The Riesling was really good, and that's probably what I'll get a glass of, and here's why. The muscadine is my favorite taste and texture of the four, but to me, that is a sweet sipping late, sitting outside in the evening by the fire. You're just sipping on that. Not that I'm chugging any of the others.
You don't ever
there's
chug
a
wine. I
difference
understand what you're saying, though.
between that, and I think that's a heavier sweet wine, but it has such a good flavor.
It's a authentic peach. It doesn't taste like artificial. You know what I
no,
mean?
I was talking about the muscadine. The peach was good.
Oh, so
Now
first is Riesling and then is your peach. And then I didn't taste the muscadine because I
you
don't
don't like it
that.
no matter
Right.
what. Yeah.
I don't even try to
Um,
make pretend.
Because we have gone to a muscadine winery before,
Indeed.
and I did not come out of there with any particular
It was
love
so
for
sweet.
well, it wasn't just they were sweet, because there's a difference between being sweet, but there has to be something else to it other than the sweetness. And I actually think this would be I would keep this for that last glass of the night when you're just done and you want to just relax and like you got your fire pit. That would be my choice for
All right.
a sip at night. Now, I honestly would probably go with the Riesling. The peach was good, but
It's a little too sweet.
I think so. And I think
It'd be good in a mix in the sangria. I do
Mhm.
agree with that.
yeah. And the blackberry was good, but not my cup of tea. Like I would want to mix that. I would splash that in and make a sangria. Because you know what I think? Since we've been doing these wine tastings and I sample yours, I'm doing things that I normally wouldn't go to. I think just because I'm also
branch out.
getting old,
You're not
my
old.
taste
Shut
is
up.
changing where I don't want
Every
that.
7 years your palate changes. That's a fact. Your taste buds kind of like recirculate every 7 years. A little bit of trivia for you.
But I'll say when you go back and sip it, you're like, man, that was really good.
And here's the other thing about reds. You're not going to chug a red because most of them are bold. So they're kind
Right.
of sippers in themselves.
I agree. I do think that and heavier sweet wines are sippers. The peach is something that
would go down like Kool-Aid.
it would. And that's where
it's-
you have to be careful. And actually, I don't know the alcohol. One of the things I don't see on here is the alcohol.
They don't
level.
have it, but I'll tell you what, white is notoriously way less than red.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Just
But I
facts.
think that's a good, also the lighter the wine, the lighter, I believe, the alcohol content. But that could be,
That's not always true.
that's how I get through the day.
Okay, well then there you
So my
have it.
sangrias are always low. You could drink them all day. But I do think it would be nice to know what the alcohol content is in these.
This is a beautiful Merlot. Oh, you know what I wanted to try? Maybe a rosé.
Oh, we did not do any rosés.
They didn't offer it.
Not on the you. It wasn't even in the mix because you could have done a mix. So you had the option of
No, but I love a good rosé.
which we can always go in and
I think we should go to the Beast. Well, we'll walk around, but I think we should go.
do we want to walk around with a glass though?
I wish.
Decisions.
Do you think they would give me a sample of rosé before I got a glass? That would be the nice thing to do.
Yeah. Well, not only that, I mean, we're spending a pretty penny here.
I know, and we're practically celebrities, so so they should show us a little love, which they have.
Oh my gosh, they've been so nice here.
Yeah, we love it here. Childress Vineyards, gorge.
So actually, I want to go look at their wine list because there might be something of these four outside of these four that I would like to try.
Same. I want to check out the rosé.
Because if I had to choose right now, oh, I don't know. Because that muscadine, and I'm surprised.
I guess I
keep
could have
going
been
back.
brave. I guess I could have been
I
brave and
am
tried
so
it, but
surprised. I keep going back. The flavor, I loved it, and I don't know. It was actually really, really good. But I know it's heavier wine, and this red was heavier than the others, and it's much sweeter, but so I may end up going with the Riesling. You know what I didn't see was a Moscato.
I think they have a Moscato here.
Because that would be, I would really like to try their
I like the
Moscato.
Riesling.
I do too, but a Moscato would be just one step up of, it should be one step up of the sweetness from the Riesling. And this Riesling was not dry, was not overly sweet,
It
was
was
not
not.
undersweet. If you are in doubt and you don't quite know where you want to sit
You're
on it,
safe with the Riesling.
I think you're safe with the Riesling here.
I even like a red.
I'm not going to tell you you're safe with Riesling anywhere because
No.
theirs is not. I mean, I've not loved, and there is very dry Rieslings. But I will say, I think if you are not quite sure where your palate is, whether you want sweet, but you are white wine, but you don't know if you want sweet or not so sweet, I would go with their American Riesling because I think you'd be safe and satisfied with that choice. For sure.
Safe and satisfied.
That's all us ladies want is safe and satisfaction. Edit that. What is the word?
That's a blooper reel.
That is a blooper reel. But you know, what is it with us and eating where I can't say my words? This happens all the time.
This is such a beautiful day.
And so mellow.
I feel so chilled. I don't know that you
Right?
guys can hear the music behind us, but this is just such an ambient place right now.
Mhm.
We've got a nice breeze. It's a gorgeous day.
We're in like this little
We have our
alcove?
own, yeah. It's like dreamy. We're not trying to
Honestly,
make you jealous, but
we could spend after we finish up and do all of the other stuff that going around doing the tour and everything. I could sit here, read our book. We need to break out because we both have books we need to be reading right now.
yes, right now we're I'm reading The Buddha and the Bee because Mr. Mortensen is going to be on our show.
Right?
And so we are becoming educated in his novels.
And his adventure
And his adventures.
sounds amazing.
Yes.
Like I do. So stay tuned for that because we're excited to have him
Yes,
on.
we're super excited. So,
All right, what's our plan?
I think we should decide. I think we should go back into the winery.
Get a
And-
glass and maybe drop some of this stuff off at the car. Edit that. Or just spit out my cheese. They say you should snap when it's time to edit, make a sound. So if you're
Oh.
listening to it.
Oh,
I did that in the beginning, like in our lost episode, the one that's somewhere down my hard drive.
holy shit. That's never seen the light of day.
Honestly,
No,
I haven't seen it or
don't go there.
I think on our 1-year anniversary we should open that time capsule. Because just FYI, what we did was after our first or second time recording, we just left the camera rolling.
First or
I don't
second.
think it was the
It was
first.
our second. We were actually more controlled our first one, and then the second one
I think we just left the camera rolling,
What happened though was we
kept drinking. So there's about 45 minutes of footage that neither one of us have gone back and watched because
I don't think we should. There's some things that
we
should
really
just be
thought that
vaulted.
I think we should open it at our 1-year anniversary
Mm.
because, well, one, we went down a rabbit hole. I don't even remember all the topics, but it was one after the other. It would send us on a tangent, and we were just like, maybe we should.
Do you know what I
record-
remember about that episode?
What?
You fucking driving down the middle of a highway or
I was
back
not
road.
driving. I was talking about driving. We just talked about how we were drinking. I was not driving.
No.
We
In our
talked-
conversation, yeah.
Correct, we were
You were not
talking
driving.
about-
No, you were
yes.
saying because you live in this little podunk country,
Uh-huh.
county, city,
I
whatever.
grew up in the country.
And then you said at night you would just drive down, you'd straddle the center lane. And I said that seems so dangerous. I
Mhm.
do remember that about it.
Because you do bring it up a lot. Because when we were coming back from
It
Raleigh,
was bizarro land to me.
yeah, I do. As let us know. You can the country out there in the country.
And I lived out in the country in Maine. Never did that shit.
Did you have a lot of deer and a lot of animals that ran out?
Moose?
Oh yeah, you have
deer?
oh
Yeah. You
How
don't
do you not straddle the line?
because it's not my line to straddle. My lane is my lane. I stay in my lane.
No, we were taught to straddle the line
Mm.
on the roads that obviously not, which is why I didn't do it. And I told you that when we were coming back from Raleigh on those back roads, I don't straddle that line because I don't know all the curves. But where you grow up in your hometown, you straddle the line so you know when you can swerve safely from.
You know what? Maybe
deer.
it's just maybe it's that I wasn't driving a lot at night, I guess, out in the middle of nowhere. Like when I was
I was
usually
16.
I was usually at a party and I would show up there and then we would party and I would spend the night typically because it was Cammy's and we would always just spend the night. I wasn't driving late at night.
I did drive. I remember I drove a stick shift. My dad made me.
I hate a stick shift.
I love a stick shift.
I
I
hate it.
honestly would prefer to go back to a stick shift.
No, there's so much going on.
No, it's so.
Nick likes that
I
too. I
love
don't.
it. But I remember I was stressed because I was like, how am I ever going to remember? I remember my dad said when he taught me how to drive, if you can drive, I was taught on like a
It is
Chevy
good to
Chevette.
know.
It was
It is
so
good to know.
old. But if you can do that, you can do anything. So
I mean,
the night that I got
well, that but-
attacked by a deer. The night the deer hit I was driving a Zuzu Trooper. It tore up my car. I had to drive in the country with one barely headlight. My hood was up. And these are country roads. There's no street lights. And you don't see a car.
Mhm.
So I get home and I'm crying, go in and crying to my dad, and he's like consoling me. And then the first thing, when he finally gets me to where I'm talking, he says, "Did you hit the clutch?" And I was like, "Yes, I did. I didn't stall out." I was so proud. It was automatic. I always thought that if I had to avoid an accident or hit my brake suddenly or whatever, I would forget to hit both the clutch and the brake. And when I hit that deer, I never stalled out.
Well,
And I was so proud of myself, even though I kind of destroyed the car.
right. And your daddy was proud of you too.
He was. That was the only thing he asked me was, "Did you stall out?" I was like, "Nope,
Well,
I did not."
good
So
for
go
you.
me.
Good job, Cheryl.
All right. So do we want to?
I think we should pack up and then go in and see what we want to drink.
All right. Be back soon.
Okay, so we're gonna do this shit.
We're gonna do this shit.
All right.
Cheers.
Oh yes, cheers, bitches. Bitches. That's us. Cheers. Breathe in the good shit. Breathe out. It's my little mantra.